Are you or someone you know preparing for a standardized test? You know, those ones with those acronyms: ACT, SAT, GRE, GMAT, LSAT, MCAT. Magoosh Online Test Prep provides everything you need to get a great score with plans starting at just $79. You get study schedules, practice questions, video lessons, and support from expert tutors. You visit magoosh.com, you enter promo code BEAUTIFUL, you get a 20% off discount. It's that simple. That's magoosh.com, magoosh.com. Promo code is beautiful. I've seen people online in the Facebook group posting that they've used this and that it works to great effect. Check it out, magoosh.com. Promo code is beautiful. Hello to all my cheesecake bakers. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beautiful Anonymous. My name's Chris Gethard. I'm the host of the show. Very lucky to say that. I get to talk to people from all over the world, all walks of life. I get to bring those people to you. We all get to learn about other people's lives. Some of them are fascinating, some of them are boring, but they're all real. I'm lucky to be at the helm of this ship. Thank you for listening once again. Want to remind everybody, February, 3-week residency at the Bell House in Brooklyn, New York. We're doing 3 live tapings. It's going to be awesome. Get your tickets at chrisgeth.com. I hear the New Yorkers are already starting to get these tickets. Come in from out of town. Take a train, take a trip. Everybody loves the Northeast in the middle of February, right? Let's go for it. That last one, the 3rd taping, all of them are going to be fun. The 3rd one happens the week our 100th episode comes out, so that's going to be super fun. Hope to see a bunch of you guys there. Now, last week's episode, I would say one of my favorites, definitely up there, one of my favorites. This was, of course, if you're interested, you haven't heard it yet, conversation with the Bushman, a young German girl called in. She was in Australia picking cherries, and then put what she described as a Bushman on the phone, and he told us about life in the bush. And he was a very philosophical guy, but also a strange bird, and it was fun. A lot of people in the Facebook group liked it. A lot of people were like, whoa. I mean, a lot of people echoed what I walked away feeling like. This is what this podcast is for, so that you can get totally specific, unique people from all corners of the world to tell us about their lives. That was cool. I will say, saw a couple comments from people that said, hey, it's so sad that you're so scared people are going to get hurt doing this. People say, it's very common that European students take a gap year and travel the world, and you thought it was so dangerous. Even other Americans saying to me, you guys in the Northeast, you're always so nervous about everything. This sounds like a fun adventure. Well, I'm going to reveal something to you. Not even Jared knows this. Got a message from the German girl a few hours before this episode was released. There was nothing I could do. I read this message and realized the episode had already been signed, sealed, delivered. German girl reached out to me. So I know it's her for real because the episode wasn't out. She didn't know it was coming out this week. My young German friend, it was good to hear from you again, happened to say a number of things. Apologized for breaking the anonymity, but did say, and I think this is important to share, I wouldn't have called in if I had known what I know now. I don't know if you even plan on airing the episode. I feel like I need to let you know that I started noticing weird mood swings with the Bushman. I'm pretty sure he has some mental health problems that he tries to run away from. I also had to learn what he went to jail for, and some of the times were apparently for getting into pretty violent fights. So, basically, you were right about being in a strange and potentially dangerous situation all along. I've known him for 2 months. But only in the past week, I started noticing weird things about him and hearing all these crazy things that I wouldn't have suspected at all. Also, had to hear stories from his friends that include sexual harassment towards his mate's girlfriend. It was pretty shocking. Anyway, no, if you feel comfortable featuring the episode with him, makes him seem like a funny, all right dude. I just had to let you know about these things before 100,000 people listen to him without knowing what's actually going on. By the way, he decided to leave today. Packed his stuff. He's gone now. All in all, the whole situation is really sad. And then the German caller said, feel free to deal with this information whatever way you choose. So not only was I right that it was dangerous, everybody's slamming me, but I did also feel like in good faith, we released that, probably would have added this caveat before that episode, but I felt like it was necessary to say that we did get in touch, and maybe that guy was not as charming as we all thought in the moment. Wanted that on record in the history of the podcast. Thank you for getting back in touch, and thanks for calling in the first place to our German student friend. And that's that. This week's call, fun one. Even though it's not always about fun topics, I really clicked with the caller on a personal level. She's from Jersey. Anybody who listens to this show knows I got the Jersey bias. You're from Jersey. I'm going to show some comfort and familiarity with you out of the gate. Some things to let you know. There's talk of some abusive relationships in here, some talk of stalking, some of it light, and then it also gets a little serious at times. But still, I will say a remarkably fun call, despite the fact that there's some dark stuff that's dealt with. We'll say this. Young caller, excited to be talking, talks a lot, can already read the comments in the Facebook group, Beautiful Anonymous, the Facebook. I can already read so many people going, she talks too fast and she says like too much. Already see. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Save it. Let's save the millennial slams. We got to start believing in the millennials. We're always telling the millennials they're entitled and we roll our eyes at them. No, they're going to change the world. Somebody's got to because things are really getting scary. So I believe in the youth, even if they do, as she does, sometimes say the words like upwards of 2 to 4 times per sentence. So I'll just put that out there. I think that's all. This intro's long enough. In closing, I think I'll just say, don't stalk. Enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
How are you?
Oh my God, am I actually on the show?
Yeah.
Wow, this is like something I've dreamt about for at least the past year. How are you?
How am I? You know what? Pretty good. Just took a week off of work, visited my parents, and I just wrote and slept the whole time, and I feel good. How about you? How
That's
you doing?
awesome. I'm good. First day back to work after a long break. Just chilling, like in total sense that I'm actually on the phone with you after like always trying to get through and my phone basically just crashing.
Oh wait, hold on one second.
So cool.
Hold on, because you, at some point it sounds like you threw your phone underwater. Is there any way to fix this situation?
I get that a lot. So let me try to plug in headphones and see if that makes it better.
Well, wait, because whatever you just did fixed it. So what'd you do? You knew you were doing something. You did something crazy with the phone.
I kind of just moved. I've heard that it goes in and out, so maybe we can just try our best.
Okay. Jared's going to be furious if that happens again. He's already filled with a white-hot rage. I can see it in the booth.
I'm sorry, Jared.
Okay.
I mean, I just got your vinyl in the mail the other day. I'm super stoked on that.
That's awesome. Thanks for checking it out.
Yeah, I haven't actually spun it yet because I never used my record player, but I have to say that me and my roommate both were like super stoked on the map on the inside. And then we were like, oh, what's this? And we took out the poster about you, like how to start with the Smiths, and we both thought it was the funniest thing we've ever seen.
That's awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you explained in detail the packaging that people get for a double album.
I was going to ask, like,
price.
Should I not give this away?
No, you should. Maybe everybody will say, you know what? I've been on the fence about buying that thing. Let me go ahead and get it because it sounds like a good piece of good artistic commemoration of that show that the guy did a while back. So you're increasing my sales, and I thank you for it.
You know what? I used to work in marketing, so you know what? It's my job.
Yeah, nailing it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what's up? What are we talking about, me and you?
I don't know. Jared asked me, and I kind of froze because I've got a lot of interesting experiences, especially over the last, 2 or 3 years. So the one that I said that just came to mind is that I was in a 6-year mentally and emotionally abusive relationship. And then when that ended, I ended up dating the kid I used to stalk around my college campus. And we're totally head over heels in love and are planning to get married.
No
So
way.
it's a very interesting thing, the way that life works out.
No way. Okay. So first of all, I'm very sorry you were in an abusive relationship. That's horrible. I'm sorry. But
It's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but I don't know. It's definitely something I try to be very open and honest about because I have had 4 people now in the last year tell me that, like, because I've been so open and honest about the way I talk about my experiences, they've broken up with also toxic or abusive people in their life, or whether it's a friend or a boyfriend. But they've come to me to thank me, and that makes me feel really good that I could help some people.
That's awesome. That's a great feeling. It's great. Now, I do have to follow up and ask, and I'm sure we'll unpack a lot of this. What do you mean you're dating someone you stalked? So you were a successful stalker. You're telling me you were stalking worked. The ill-advised practice of stalking worked.
I mean, I definitely do not, I don't encourage this behavior to anyone. But yes, I'm dating a kid I stalked when I was in this abusive relationship. To the point where, like, one time I was hanging out with my abusive ex-boyfriend, and I'm pretty sure he walked by, and I was like, that kid's really cute. I follow him around campus when I'm bored. And my ex-boyfriend at the time was like, oh, he's ugly. And I was like, well, forget you.
Wait.
That's just one example.
Wait. You actually stalked him? You actually followed him around?
Occasionally, yes.
Were you like checking his mail and stuff? Were you stealing his mail?
Well, no, I was definitely not checking his mail.
Stealing his towel out of the locker room in the gym? When he throws it in the thing, you run up, you get the towel, you run away?
He was a commuter, and I lived on campus, so I only saw him very, very rarely. So I didn't really see him all that much. And our school was not big. It wasn't Rutgers big, because I'm also from New Jersey. It wasn't big, but it wasn't small. And I saw him on the first day I had transferred into this school. And ever since then, I was like, that kid is special. Even when being in a relationship that was very toxic and very damaging. But that's I don't condone this behavior. It doesn't always work out this way, but for me, it did.
What's the most stalky thing you ever did to this guy?
Oh God. Okay, where do I even begin with that one? So there's a few that I can't.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I think you just wandered into a gigantic tin can. If you could emerge from the gigantic tin can, that would be good for sound.
Am I out of the
There
tin can?
you go. Better. Yes. Good.
All right. Okay. I just have to hold my phone really straight, it seems. Maybe there's something off. But, whatever. But
right.
The most stalkiest thing I did. Okay. Well, when I transferred in as a sophomore, and he was a freshman, and I had been single when I transferred into the school. Because me and my abusive ex-boyfriend had been dating for 3 years. He cheated on me a bunch and then broke up with me, but then kind of like suckered me back into the relationship by kind of like playing it off as like, oh, like, it was a mistake, take me back, I'll never do that again, when he just wanted someone to give him more attention while he continued to do those things. But whatever. So when I did go to the school at first, I was single for the first month I was there. So I was on the prowl. I'm not going to lie. I was looking around, and I saw him on the first day of school, and I was like, that kid is gorgeous. That kid seems really cool. I don't know how I'm going to approach him. I haven't been single since I was like 15 years old. Let's do this. And I talked to him once or twice. To this day, I don't remember this, but he says he remembers me coming up to him and asking him to vote for my friend for like some student government position. And he said that he was like, oh, I thought you were so cool and I wanted to talk to you more, but I didn't know how. But I don't remember that. He says that it happened. And 3 other people say that it happened. I don't remember. But so ever since then, so I went back to my dorm, the first week I was at school. I pulled out my laptop, and I think one person I knew his name. So I started just Googling his name in all of the freshman groups, just kind of searching for him until I found him and saw that he ran his own photography, business on the side. So I Googled that. I found his photography blog, and from there I found his personal blog. And I remembered his handle across the board, and I would periodically check in on it.
So yeah, we're somewhere between college flirtation and stalking. Yeah, you're not kidding. You tracked them.
Oh yeah, and it gets like, you know, not worse, but definitely not better. So I get back together with the abusive ex-boyfriend, and it's a mess. He treats me terribly and tells me I'm not allowed to talk about my feelings, and I'm not allowed to have feelings, and that I'm a bad girlfriend, and that I'm crazy, and does this to basically, you know, keep me with him, as abusive people do. And, you know, whenever I felt really down and being like, well, you know, like maybe the grass is greener on the other side, I would like look in to see what this kid was doing. But I knew he had a girlfriend that he had been dating for a few years. So I was like,
Oh, you
whatever.
did?
I can think he's cute.
Oh, you
yeah.
knew. Okay, hold on. Pause. Did you know her name?
Yes, I did know her name. And I even stalked her on social media for a brief time period.
You did. So you tracked down info on not just him, but his girl. You followed the other people in his life.
Yeah, well, I didn't like follow her closely. Like, I wouldn't periodically check up on her, but I like at least like maybe every 6 months would be like, oh yeah, what was his handle again? I'm gonna go look at his Twitter, see what's up. And I had never said a word to him. And then one night, it was like 2 years later, I hadn't seen him around campus. I figured like he either like dropped out or transferred schools, and like I was just like whatever. And me and my friend went to go see this band that we really like. In Webster Hall in New York. And it's one of the smaller shows, like in the lower room. I don't remember what they call it. It's like the one underground. And we're just standing there, you know, talking, having a good time. And this kid that I used to stalk pushes past me, like puts his hand on me, pushes past me and walks forward. And I literally like grabbed my friend and I was like, it's him, it's that kid. Mm-hmm. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, that kid I talk about all the time. It's him. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, okay. And then the next day, a girl messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, I'm sleeping with your boyfriend. I know a lot of girls also who's been sleeping with your boyfriend. He lies to you about everything, and maybe you two should have a talk. And I was like, is it a sign that I saw that kid last night for the first time in forever? And now I'm finding out that, like, my boyfriend at the time is still really shitty to me. And I guess it was. But I didn't take a hint. So within the next, like, few months, me and my, at the time, boyfriend tried to, like, work through our problems and stuff. And, like, mostly his problems that he made me feel were my problems. You know, and he, you know, started getting really into drugs and just never making time for me and lying to me about everything and like gaslighting me about how I'm like obsessive and crazy and how I was ruining his life. And if I could just stop caring about the things he did, then he would be happier and thus I would be happier. And, you know, the crazy stuff that you should never let anyone tell you about yourself because it's manipulative and very just not good in general. But then it was like spring semester came around. I walked into my fiction writing class, I was very excited for it. I was excited to write some fiction and like learn about some more writing. So I was an English and communications double major. And I was finally getting into taking some like cool free electives. And I walk in and I go to sit down and I see the kid that I've been stalking sitting right there with an empty seat, like next to him. And I like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, don't sit next to him because you're going to fall in love with this guy.
Did you sit next to him?
I was like, I don't care. Like, it's going to happen.
Did you sit next to him?
I didn't. I sat like 2 rows over and diagonally so I could be able to stare at him from behind all day.
Whoa.
Like while we were in class for like an hour and a half.
So you get together. How, or does the stalking intensify at this point, or does it become less?
Oh no, it gets more serious. So at the time, I worked at our school newspaper on campus, and we had an office, and I worked with one of the girls who was in that class with that kid. And I remember we would walk out of class together. So the first day I was like, I have to drop the class. And she's like, why? And I was like, I'm in a really tough spot with my relationship right now. And if I see that kid twice a week, it's going to fall apart. I was like, and she's like, what? I was like, I've been like low key stalking him forever. And that girl was like, oh, you guys would make a cute couple. Like, why don't you just break up with your boyfriend and go for it? And I was like, I can't do that. We've been dating for like 6 years. and no one at the time knew how bad my relationship was, so the issue didn't press on further. But I would go to work at, like, after that class every day, like every other day our class was or whatever. And like if you asked around that office, you found one of those people today and be like, what did talk about? Oh, can you bleep up her name?
Bleep the name, Jared. She got
Thank
going.
you.
She
what
got
did
going.
she talk about the most? The most when she came to work on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, it'd be like, oh, that kid in her class. Because like I needed to fixate on something that wasn't like my relationship at the time and like everything bad in my life. So I was like,
obsessing
just
over
like,
this
you know, I would
beautiful
just
boy.
kind of
This beautiful freshman commuter.
Yes.
This beautiful freshman commuter.
Yes, well, at the time
I'm
he wasn't a freshman. I was a senior,
Hold
and
up.
he was a junior at this point.
Oh, so this went on for years, this semi-stalking. Light stalking, we should say.
Yeah,
light stalking. Can I just say,
light stuff.
because I'm going to start jumping in more, because I got things to say.
Please do. I would love for you too.
I'm going to speak on behalf of many people who lived on campus and say, falling in love with commuters.
Right.
Commuters. What was the deal with the commuters?
Yeah. And then like I found out that he was from Staten Island, and then I was like, oh, well, that's never gonna work out.
People don't understand.
Because from someone from North,
You say it. I was
as
just
you
about
know,
to
from
say.
being from northern New Jersey,
Weird thing
you
with
don't-
Staten Island.
you don't mess with people from Staten Island.
Well, there's a thing there, isn't there, where there's a lot of stereotypes about North Jersey and there's a lot of stereotypes about Staten Island. And I think we like to say, oh, those aren't true. They're really talking about Staten Islanders. And then the Staten Island people are like,
Yes, that's exactly
that's not
how
true.
it
They're
is.
thinking of Jersey people when they make fun of us. So it's kind of like we're all trying to punch. It's like we're
It's
the
a
two
war.
lowest
It's a
rungs on the
war.
ladder trying to kick each other off the ladder entirely. Jersey and Staten Island.
We've gotten
Weird relationship.
full-on arguments talking about like our like just like what he grew up with and what I grew up with, and like talking about like stereotypes, and like we get all out. But his family just moved to New Jersey, so like now he's kind of ingrained in it, and I'm like, and like he loves Taylor Ham now, and like
Oh, yeah.
is like not as stuck up, and realizes that Staten Island is not a place that he ever wants to be again.
Staten
so.
Island's pretty great. So I'm going to take an educated guess here. How do you like dating an Italian guy?
Well, I come from a pretty Italian family. If you knew like my full name, you would be like, are you from Italy? But like I totally am not. And it's weird because growing up, I hated the Italian side of my family. And like I hated the fact that they were like too loud and in your face about everything. And like I was just like, oh, I can't wait till like if I grow up and like, I don't know, like I will marry like or like get involved with the most opposite like heritage, because I never want to be around these people. And then I end up with a full-blooded Italian guy from Staten
I
Island.
was right. You moved from Staten
With, like,
Island to
you know,
North
like-
Jersey. You're probably Italian. You're probably Italian.
Yeah, and he's not typical Staten Island. He's not like Jersey Shore. Like he's really cool and he listens to good music and his friends are cool, and like he plays like guitar and drums, and like
No,
he's a
that's
writer and like all this stuff.
I'm making
but, like-
fun, but Staten
so, like,
Island's
he's
great.
not-
Some of my best friends are from Staten Island. My friend Sean Gorman.
It's okay.
Sean Gorman, one of the funniest people I ever met, Staten Islander. Okay, so you're in this class. You're going to work. You're obsessively talking about this kid.
All the time. I have a code name for him in my
What?
group chat with my best friends at
What?
the time.
What's the code name? I need to know the code name.
Well, I can't. It had his name in it, so I can't tell you.
Okay. How weird. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how weird was the code name?
Oh, it wasn't that weird.
How
it
weird
was,
was
kind
it
of
for
like a
you
play
to
on
have the
someone-
code name?
Oh, definitely weird.
Yeah. 1 to 10, how weird was
But,
it for you to have the code name?
Like, I'm going to say like a 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean 6. It's a 6.
Like the first time that like I left class and started actually just following him and his friend at like a far distance around campus, just to like I had nothing else to do, and like I like caught myself being like, what am I doing? That was the weirdest time I felt like, what am I doing?
Now, how often would you follow him around?
Like it only happened a handful of times, and his like now that I've been dating him for a while, and like we hang out with his friends. His one friend that was in the class with him, who would always catch me staring like in their general direction. Like if I mentioned it once, I was like, oh yeah, I used to follow you guys after class. He's like, oh yeah, I know, I saw you. He was like, I just didn't want to say anything because it was totally weird.
What's the longest length of time you followed him around for?
probably only like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to say like an hour or two.
Like, it wasn't like, yeah, no. But
Now,
one
wait,
of the
hold
other
on,
moments
because I have a follow-up question.
ask me.
Be honest this time. What's the longest length of
Oh,
time you
God.
followed him around for?
No, really only like 10 minutes because I had a super packed schedule because
Oh,
I took
okay.
7 classes and interned and worked on campus. So like, I didn't have really time.
So let's be clear. This was not
If I
because
had
you
more
came to your
time-
senses. It was logistics.
Yeah, it wasn't because I got like a moment of clarity. It was because I just didn't have the time.
Yeah, if you had the time, you would have really arranged things around this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, of course.
So walk me through. So, okay, we're 20 minutes in. Let's start wrapping it up. Does the stalking get more intense, or do you eventually woo him? Does the stalking get more intense? That's what I call a cliffhanger. That's a good point to pause. When we pause on this show, what we like to do is play you some ads for products and services. These are people who support the show, bring it to the world for free. I hope you check out what they have to say. And if what they have appeals to you, use the promo codes. Helps the show. We'll be right back with more phone call. Today's show is sponsored by Talkspace, the online therapy company that lets you message a licensed therapist from anywhere at any time. I love therapy. I'm a big advocate, as you guys know. Happy to spread word on Talkspace. It's a modern way to try out therapy for yourself. I like it. Can't imagine fitting anything else into your life sometimes, right? It's tough. Well, with Talkspace, therapy is very easy. It's as easy as sending your therapist a message. You get something off your chest whenever you need to. Talk about everyday challenges at work or at home. You just chat about life. There's no extra commutes. You don't have to leave your office, and nobody's ever going to judge you for it. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the Talkspace mobile app. You can improve your mental health. Remember, therapy is not just about venting your innermost thoughts or digging into childhood memories. It's about practical, everyday strategies for stress management, for living a happier life. Having a therapist simply provides you a designated person for you to talk to who's trained to listen and helps you make positive changes. And the Talkspace platform has over 2,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing life challenges we all face. To match with a perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com/beautiful. Use the code BEAUTIFUL to get $30 off your first month and show your support for this show. That's beautiful at Talkspace.com/beautiful. Oh, Casper. Casper, I sleep so well. I am a well-rested, relaxed person because of the quality of the mattress you provide. I thank you, Casper, for making my sleep experience so good. Casper is a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience, one night at a time. They got 3 mattress models: the original Casper, the Wave, the Essential. Casper mattresses are perfectly designed to soothe and cradle your natural geometry. Not to mention, the breathable design helps you sleep cool. It regulates your body temperature throughout the night, and it's delivered right to your door in a small, how did they do that size box, with free shipping and returns in the US and Canada. Genuinely fun to watch the Casper unfold itself coming out of this box. Very true. Best part, you can be sure your purchase. Casper's got the 100-night risk-free sleep on it trial. After all, look, you spend a third of your life sleeping. It's got to be comfortable. Casper respects that. You've heard me say it a few times already in the course of this ad. I love my Casper. I love taking it out of the box. Love sleeping on it. My wife loves it. Never slept better. Really, genuinely enjoy this mattress. Start sleeping ahead of the curve with Casper. Get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/beautiful. Use beautiful at checkout. That's Casper.com/beautiful. The offer code is beautiful. $50 off your mattress purchase. You're going to love it. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks again to all our sponsors. Now let's get back to the phone call. We're 20 minutes in. Let's start wrapping it up. Does the stalking get more intense, or do you eventually woo him?
It kind of fizzles out, and then me and my abusive ex-boyfriend break up. He calls me over the phone and says, we shouldn't see each other anymore, because that's the way you end a 6-year relationship. And I say, you're right. Click. We never talk again.
That's it. Oh, you did. So he tried to serve up an ace, and you just slammed it back, and you scored. You just said,
Well,
you're right, hung
I
up, and that was it? That's rad.
Yeah, I was like, you're right. And then he tried to text me to do a favor for him a few weeks later. And I was like, I'm not dating you anymore, and you're terrible. I'm not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
That was basically how that ended.
That's
and,
good. That's
you know,
great.
months went by. And I started thinking, like, I started realizing and reading up on, like, abusive relationships. And I was like, oh, I was dating a total sociopath, going down a totally wrong path and, like, drugs and, like, just bad behavior. And I'm like, that I really dodged a bullet, and we never spoke again.
Yeah,
I've read off a lot of people that were connected to him just because I don't want anything to do with any of them anymore. And my life is really great right now.
That's
so
good. Great.
I've completely moved forward, and like I feel really good and really like mentally sound. And
That's
but yeah,
great.
so so the way that I ended up continuing to stalk this kid and how we ended up together is that I worked in the music industry for my first big time job. It was an internship that turned into a job, which is awesome. So once I was working there full time, I got an intern for the summer.
Ooh.
And she was also from Staten Island.
I was hoping
so
you
when
would say
she
it
was
was
like
him.
her and I
I was hoping he was your
oh
intern.
my God, I would have died. I would have left. But
you would have left, but you would have waited in the
and she was-
parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I got
nailed
an
it.
intern from Staten Island, and one day, and like I would be like, oh, you know what? I only knew like one kid from Staten Island. It was this kid at my school, not mentioning that I totally stalked him. And then one day she like hit me up on like the computer, like our little Lisi's G chat, and she's like, hey, I'm bored. I don't have anything to do. Can you give me some work to do? And I didn't have anything for her. So I linked her to his Twitter account, and I
What?
said, can you do some research on this guy?
You had an intern research the guy you had a crush on? You had an
Yeah.
intern earning college credit, stalking your guy for you.
Yeah.
What?
She loved it. She did a great job. To this day, like, she's the best person ever. I know, because like now I work in the book publishing industry, and I know that's kind of where she wants to be too. So I text her all the time. I'm like, yo, I owe you one.
Now, what,
I'm
what
like,
did
if you
she
ever
find
want to
out?
like send your resume in.
What did what did this intern find out as she stalked
Well,
your
she
guy on the
reported-
company
she
dime?
She reported back to me, and she was like, his Twitter is really depressing. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I don't know. He seems really sad. And I was like breakup sad, because I knew he had been in a relationship with someone. And she's like, yeah, that's definitely the tone. And I was like, all right, what do I do?
Come
And
on.
I broke it all down for her, and she's like, you follow him, duh. So
No.
I did.
You just roll with stalkers. Even your interns are stalkers.
I owe her my life.
Wow. So she
But I
encourages
follow
you to get
him,
back in the
and-
following. Oh, no, you mean follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
I thought
follow
she
him,
was
follow
encouraging
him,
you to
like, on
follow
Twitter.
him around
No.
as he walked his dog and
No.
shopped in the supermarket.
No,
But would you have if you knew where he shopped?
maybe.
Would you have started shopping there?
Probably.
Okay, so you follow him
But,
on Twitter. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, so I follow him on Twitter. He follows me back within like the same day, and we don't like say or anything or do anything. But like 2 weeks go by. I like some of his tweets, but he never likes mine. And I'm like, all right, this isn't gonna work out. And then one day I go on Instagram, and he found my Instagram that's not linked to my Twitter, and he followed me on Instagram and started liking my photos.
Man, social
So I was
media is
like, oh, I
very
see
important
what
to
you're
young
doing.
people now. It's extremely important,
I'm
huh?
not that young.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
You're so young. That's the youngest.
I'm not that young.
You're the youngest. You're 23 years old.
What are you, like, only like 10 to 12 years older than me?
14 years older than you.
All right. That's not that young.
Oh, that was so North Jersey right there. All right. You sound like my mom. You sound like Sally. All right. Here's my mom. I try to say something. I'm trying to make fun of her a little bit, try to rib her a little bit. And Sally's just like, all right. I didn't realize you got so smart. Like that. All right. You sound just like you got the North Jersey. Yeah, you're 23 years old. You're
I
super
hope
young.
you listen to this episode. All right, I guess. But
So
he
social
follows me on
media is
Instagram,
everything.
so I
Social
follow
media is how you track social interactions now. Like
everything.
in
Oh, yeah,
total.
of course.
Wow.
If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't be dating this person.
So he follows
At
you
all.
on Instagram and you're like, oh, he's interested.
Yeah, well, I was like, I hope he's interested. So I follow him back. We still don't talk. And then, like, I go out with some friends for a birthday, and I get really, really drunk. And, like, I had been having a rough summer because I just got out of this 6-year relationship that was really bad. And like I was in my first full-time job and like super stressed out with work. And like also I was still in school finishing my last semester. So like I just moved into my own place for the first time. Like I was just like experiencing all these new things. So like I got really super drunk and I was coming home in the car with my roommate. And like I just remember like I don't know what happened. I was like super quiet. We were just chilling. You know, she was being a good friend, like being like, you okay? Do you need water? Like, blah, blah, we're going home. Like, you're going to go to bed. And then, like, I threw my phone on the floor and screamed. And she's like, what did you do? I was like, I messaged him on Twitter. I don't know what came over me.
Okay. And what did you say?
And I just straight up was like, hey, can I have your number? Would that be weird? And he just gave it to me.
Yeah. And then did you call him?
What? No, I didn't call him. I texted him, and he actually totally swerved me, and I'll say that he didn't to this day. But, like, I texted him, and he's like, hey, this is, like, blah, 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 right? Sorry, I'm going to bed.
Well, he's probably being a gentleman at that point.
Like, well, yeah, he was like, I was trying to be nice. I didn't want to, like, end up texting you and then falling asleep. And I was like, no, I'll make the joke. I'm like, no, you avoided me. And he was like, no, I didn't.
Big time you a little bit.
But
so then a relationship blossoms.
So,
you get together.
Yeah, exactly. So he texted me the next day. He actually helped me pick out my hamster because I decided to buy a hamster on a whim, and I sent him some pictures of some rodents I was thinking about. And to this day, like I still have my hamster.
Just
He's
pause.
great. His name is Pinkerton after the Weezer album.
Just pause a second because you talk fast, and I just need to process what you just said. Just help me pick out my hamster. Just give me a second.
He did.
I know. Just let me have a second to just process because you're getting very energetic and I'm very old and I can't keep up. Helped you pick out your hamster because you had rodents. You had like a Pinterest board of rodents. Okay, you were saying.
Yeah, and then like he like straight up was like, hey, like so I know you live in like you obviously if you go to this school you probably live in New Jersey. Where do you live? So like when I decide to ask you on a date, how long of a commute is it going to be to get to you? And I was like, damn, like, get it right in there. Like, we didn't even, and we just ended up, like, talking about music. And then for, like, a month, he didn't ask me out or anything. And I was like, what is this kid doing? Like, are we going to, like, get together? Or then, like, finally, I remember I was at work, and I had just made plans with my boss to go do something the next night after work. And like, I literally like turned away from my boss after making those plans, looked down at my phone. He's like, are you free tomorrow? Do you want to like go, like, do you want to go out? And I was like, I turned back to my boss. I was like, I'm canceling those plans.
Nice.
I was like, I have a date.
We got together. Now,
And
how long
like,
into dating do you reveal to him that you used to stalk him?
About 3 months.
How does he react?
He thought it was adorable, honestly. He didn't really, like, at that point, I could have told him anything, and he would have been like, it's fine. Because, like, from our first date onward, like, it's like magic happened. We just knew that, like, oh, this is what it's always supposed to be. And, like, I found out that, like, he had just gotten out of, like, a physically abusive relationship with his ex-girlfriend, like, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Huh?
She was hitting him?
Yeah, she would like hit him and like throw stuff at him, and like he would tell me about how they would play wrestle. I say that with air quotes, but she would actually like physically beat him up and like choke him until he passed out.
Whoa. So
and like she didn't have a job or like didn't have any, and she would just stay home all day, and then like she would just make him buy her things and like take her out to places and like spend a bunch of money, and then she would say that he was a terrible boyfriend and like hit him and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's in greener pastures now, and you're happy. How long you been dating?
Yeah. And
how long
so,
you been
like,
dating?
About a year and a half.
Nice.
But it's been great. And like I tell him all the time, we'll be just like sitting, hanging out, or like laying in bed, or like going to sleep at night. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like I used to stalk you, and now like we're together, and that's bizarre.
Yeah, and I want to say there's probably a lot of stalkers listening to this right now, going like, "See, you see," like say there's probably like stalkers like playing this for their parole officers, like, "See." And I just want to say that
like,
you on the phone, my friend, are, first of all, that's very light stalking. That's also sort of how college people flirt. You maybe fell in a little deeper than most, but following each other on social media, 10 minutes of follow. So it gets a little intense, a little weird, but not that weird. And also, you're an outlier. Stalking doesn't usually work. So I don't want all the stalk, because I think this show is actually very popular amongst stalkers from the demographic research we did.
Definitely.
And I just want to say to all the
Definitely
stalkers,
popular.
I appreciate your support in the stalking community, but that this is an outlier and it doesn't work and you shouldn't stalk. I want to go on record. I, Chris Gethard, want to go on record. Don't stalk. Don't do it. Just be above board. No need to stalk.
I don't know.
Don't stalk. Don't do it. It worked for you, and that's nice that it worked out. But in general,
worked
let's
for me.
not
Great.
stalk. Let's not stalk.
If I didn't stalk my boyfriend now, who knows where I'd be?
Okay, so you're endorsing stalking. You're encouraging stalking as someone who it worked for.
Well, I also have like another instance where stalking went terribly wrong on my part, but not really stalking, just like someone I kept running into, and then I kind of like pursued them as a romantic interest, and it was a mess. So that's not really stalking. But then the guy ended up stalking me, which is where it went wrong.
Now, do you ever stalk your current boyfriend now for old time's sake, to reminisce? Do you ever like?
No, because I'll end up like seeing like posts of his like abusive ex-girlfriend, and just like seeing her makes me very angry.
Right, with the cyber
So
stalking.
I don't try to do that.
Yeah. But do you ever, like, if he's leaving for work in the morning, you crouch behind the bushes and watch?
Yeah, but when we're together, I just like, sometimes I just sit back and watch him for old time's sakes. I tell him that too. Like if we're out in public or like at a mall or something and we lose sight of each other, and then like I'll see him in the distance, I'll just stay back and pretend like it's good old times.
So the answer is yes, you do stalk him for old time's sake.
Yeah, sometimes. Not even kidding.
Yeah. No, I didn't think you were. I
Yeah.
didn't get the sense at all that you were. Yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked out. And I'm very glad that...
Thank you. I'm glad it worked out too.
Yeah, and I'm very glad, all jokes aside, I'm very glad both you and he got out of those darker relationships. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. Like, very glad. I shudder to think what my life would be if I was still with that person.
Yeah. And you know, you told us you were 23 and you said that was for 6 years. So this was clearly when you were in high school. You were with this guy. I got to say,
yeah,
few things scarier than watching a young guy blossom into a sinister man. That's a scary thing to see.
Yeah, definitely sinister is a good word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
Just very, once he kind of understood what a sociopath was, he would go around saying he was one. And at the time, like, being in a relationship with her, I'd be like, no, that's not you. And then, like, his friends would be like, no, he's a completely full-blown sociopath. And they'd be like, I don't get what you're talking about. And then, like, after we broke up, I was like, oh.
Yeah, then he'd gaslight you for 6
totally
days straight.
Accurate.
He'd gaslight you for days. I'm glad it worked out. And you said you and this new guy are talking about getting married.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We've been honestly talking about it since like we first started dating. We were just so crazy about each other from like the first date onward.
That's nice.
And
you're 23. He's 22.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awful young these days.
But
to get married.
we definitely want to spend the rest of our lives together. The only thing we don't even live together yet now, but we're with each other all the time. But we're hoping to move by April-ish. And
yeah, try that first.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him every day.
That's nice.
I hope living a life together.
I hope it works.
Yeah. It will. I'm confident.
Yeah, I mean, first, you'll live with him, though. And having been a 22-year-old man,
course.
living with a 22-year-old man is not going to be fun. It's going to be disgusting.
It'll be okay.
When I was 22, I lived in a house where none of us cleaned. There were 8 of us. None of us ever wanted to clean. And
That's gross.
There were mushrooms growing in our shower. And none of us picked the mushrooms. We just showered with the mushrooms.
That is despicable.
Yeah, it was foul.
That's disgusting.
Absolutely foul. Mushrooms. Not one of us picked the mushrooms, got the mushrooms out of there. It's disgusting.
That's really gross.
Yeah, I don't know why we lived like that. We lived like absolute.
The past is the past.
Squalor. Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Don't get too hung up on it, Chris.
I'd like to think so. Well, that's good. I'm glad. I mean, we heard your story of successful stalking. Again, I don't endorse or encourage stalking. It was very light stalking. We should say, I think you're using the phrase stalking, and there's some playfulness about that. This is not.
Yes.
You're not like stealing his mom's clothes and wearing them and stuff like that. Sometimes stalking becomes a real
No, definitely not.
psychological criminal issue. You never took it that far. You just had a big crush on this guy, and you put an
Very
intern
big.
to work. That's a little much. Putting an intern on the case is a bit much. But what can you do?
I don't think it's much. I think it was a good use of her time.
Maybe. Who knows? Sorry, I had to get up to grab a bottle of water that I saw sitting there across the table.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated.
You have to. It's one of the main things I tell people. People ask me for advice in life. One of the main things I always say, stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
We underestimate it. And a lot of times when you feel hungry, it turns out you're actually thirsty. That's scientific fact.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm telling everyone to stay hydrated all the
Have to.
time.
Well, we're right on the same page about that. You got to stay hydrated. You have to stay hydrated. And, a
For
lot
sure.
of medical things, a lot of headaches, migraines, even some stomach issues. You drink water, it tends to clear things up a little sooner.
Exactly. Water's the best. It is magic.
Well, look, we're both North Jersey people, known for our love of water. In North
Yeah,
Jersey, we love
definitely.
water. Okay, we got 22 minutes left, my friend. 22 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot of time. That's more time than I thought.
It is, because I tell you,
Huh.
you were talking real fast. You said
did
enough
you-
words that we should only have about 15 minutes left, but you packed them in.
I've been told I talk very fast.
You're a fast talker. I'm telling you, I want you to brace yourself because I say this with love. A lot of people on the internet forget that when they're leaving comments about this podcast, they're leaving comments about human beings. And I can guarantee there's going to be people that are like, oh, she talked too fast. She was just talking so fast. I couldn't take it.
Well,
Just get ready for that.
Well, I know that I talk fast, and I also know that some people are going to point out that I have a slight lisp, as people do. So
You
that's
do?
totally cool. I'm
I
ready
didn't notice
for it.
that.
Yeah, some people notice it right away. Some people never notice it. I have a best friend that I've known since I was 6 who said, like, I never hear it. And then I've had people where, like, my first few words out of my mouth to them, they just come back at me and they're like, you have a lisp. And I'm like, thanks.
No, I haven't heard any lisp. Jared shook his head no as well. Harry, have you sensed any lisp?
Well-
No, Harry hasn't sensed a lisp either. You're batting 3 for 3 in the Earwolf studio.
Well, that's awesome.
Earwolf,
That
New
makes
York.
me feel better. I haven't heard a lot of people mention it in, like, since I was old, like, since I've been in college. But when
Yeah.
I was younger, I guess it probably was more prominent. But
And there's nothing wrong with. Let me just
Yeah.
also say, nothing wrong with having a lisp. I know a lot of people with lisps.
yeah, definitely not.
Great
That's
people.
character.
Yeah. Look at this. A young romance blossomed over social media. Got you out of a dangerous
Yeah.
situation. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in another dangerous situation before, but that blew over quick. Like, after my ex-boyfriend, before getting together with my current boyfriend.
You dated another crazy person?
Oh, 100% completely out of their mind. Crazy.
100% out of his mind crazy. That sounds like a story anyone would want to hear, and that anyone would listen to a number of ads in order to get to. Got our sponsors coming up. Check out what they got. There's a lot of promo codes in there. You get good discounts on stuff. We'll be back after this with more phone call. Sonos has changed the game in my household. It's the best. Not going to lie to you guys, they gave me one as a, hey, check this out type thing. And guess what I did? I went and spent my own money to fill out my system because it's a really great product. And you can't get a higher endorsement than that, can you? I love it. I love it. It changes the way you listen to things in your home. When I first got this thing going, I was amazed at a couple things. First of all, the quality of the sound, it's great. The ease of setting it up, even a dummy like me, I couldn't mess it up. The app gives you a walkthrough with each individual speaker. Couldn't be any easier. So simple. Plus, Sonos One right now, you control that thing with your voice. Let's say you're in the bathroom, you got the shower, you got the volume all the way up. Hey, Hey, Sonos One, I'm going to just say out loud, I'm moving into my bedroom now. Turn it off in the bathroom, turn it on in the bedroom. It switches right. It's cool. It's the coolest thing. It blends great sound with Amazon Alexa. You can use it while you're cooking, while you're doing other stuff. Just tell Alexa to turn the volume up or down. Tell her to do it. She helps you out, okay? You can request a lullaby when you're tucking in the kids. All sorts of things that you can do with your Sonos speakers and your Sonos One. It's awesome. Sonos One is backed by a pair of Class D amplifiers and custom-built drivers. So if you're a big fan of drivers, they got the custom-built ones in here. Check them out. Sonos is offering the listeners of Beautiful Stories from Anonymous People 10% off one order, $2,500 or less for any product on Sonos.com. This is a great, great offer. You don't find so many offers for Sonos, and it means the world to me that they're offering one to our listeners because I think you guys will really enjoy it. This offer is available for a limited time only, can't be combined with other discounts or promotions. You use the promo code STORIES10, that's capital letters, STORIES 10 at Sonos.com to receive this offer. Thanks again to everybody who advertises on the show and helps me bring it to the world for free. Now, let's get back to the phone call.
100%. Completely out of their mind. Crazy.
Really? In what way?
So I guess I can just start from the beginning. Starbucks barista, thought he was cute, gave him my number. We start texting. He's 35 years old. And I was
Don't say it with that tone, please. Please do not say it with that tone.
He was 35 years old.
Think about it.
Okay,
Think about
I was not even 22 yet.
You said that you just when he was 35 years old. 37.
Well, because I wasn't even 21 yet. So I was I don't think I want to date someone that much older than me.
Yeah,
that's what
fair.
I was implying.
That's fair.
I was well, you're a lot older than because he looked really young, but I didn't know any better. So I was oh, yeah, well, I'm single for the first time in 6 years. So I was oh, let's talk to this guy, see where it goes. We can be friends or whatever. So we text, and I find him on Facebook, and we have two mutual friends, and it's people that I went to high school with. So I messaged one of them to kind of get a scoop on who this person is. I was hey, you know so-and-so? And they're yeah, I'm really good friends with his wife.
Whoa.
And I was oh, what?
Game changer.
And so I was really upfront because I was out trying to get played by some other jerk again in my life. And so I texted him, and I was so you have a wife? And he was oh yeah, totally cool about it. I was interesting.
Okay.
And so he started texting me paragraphs on paragraphs about how him and his wife are in an open relationship and in an open marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And being in a once failed relationship, I remember that at one point me and my ex-boyfriend kind of did the open thing, thinking oh, if we could see other people but still stay together, perfect thing. And it was awful. So I was maybe that's what they're doing. I was whatever. So I kept talking to this guy just to have someone to kind of talk to. And he became absolutely obsessed with me, nonstop texting me, calling me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just being completely obsessed with me. And I was not into it. He would call me and I wouldn't answer. And then I'd be don't call me. And then he would call me again. Yeah. And I was I'm not into it. And at the time I was moving into my apartment, which actually happened to be in the next town over from where he lived. And he offered to help me move, all this stuff. He was trying to get in on my space.
Yeah. And by my space, you mean
you have a wife.
Your personal space, not the outdated social media network that I assume you were too young to ever be a member of.
Yeah, not actually on MySpace.
Yeah, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I was on Friendster.
But he was obsessed with me, so this went on for 2 or 3 weeks. And his phone broke, and he messaged me on Facebook, and we hadn't been friends on Facebook. Yeah. But he found my Facebook, he messaged me, and was hey, my phone broke. I'm going to miss you so much, but, we still have plans for, Thursday. And I was sure, whatever, because he was going to come. I had just moved into my apartment that week, and he was oh, I'll come over and, help you unpack and blah, blah. And I was yeah, that's fine. And we had only met up with each other once for, 5 minutes at this point, and we, kissed, and that was it. And they left, and I was this guy's a total weirdo. But, yeah, so he didn't have a phone. So later in the day, I messaged him back on Facebook Messenger, and I got a message stack right away that was like, this is so-and-so's wife. Who are you?
Yeah, that's
And
not
I
good.
was like,
That's not good.
And like I totally came clean because like I was not about to be like, you know, the other woman when I dealt with that so much in my last relationship. I told her everything he's told me. I sent her screenshots of the things of him talking about like how him and his wife have all these rules and how they're like him talking about other women he's dated that his wife knows about apparently, like all this stuff. And like I crushed this poor woman's soul, like completely destroyed her world.
That sucks.
Like she was so upset and was like thanking me and like being really nice and like caring and being like thanks for being like looking out for another girl and blah blah blah. Like I've been with him since we were 15. Wow. And like he's done this before, but I thought we were past this. And I was just like, man, that really sucks. And so that happened.
So
and then like a few days later, I got a message.
Oh yeah, well, you got a message about what? A few days later, you got a message.
Got a message from her Facebook account, and she was like, "He tried to kill himself when I approached him about you. I hope you're happy."
Damn, that's not your fault.
And here I am, like it's finals week at school. I'm still living in a dorm.
Yeah, that's intense.
And I'm like, what?
So let me ask you. Let me ask you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Me and you, deep breath together. Ready? When you're outside of the dating world, what do I need to know about you? Because I got 15 minutes left, and I don't want to just only know you through the prism of these men. I want to know you for you.
What about me? So I love books. I work in the book publishing industry now. Used to work in the music industry. Absolutely hated it.
Why? What did you hate so much about it?
Just really fake people, pretentious, not like actual hardworking people who just want to take credit for other people's work.
Book industry.
Just like, and everyone.
Book industry, not a business model built to last. What is it that you love so much about it?
I love it. I love the people. They're all just kind of like nerdy and they just want to like, and it's kind of more of a community than it feels like when I'm at work. I feel like I'm hanging out with people that have similar interests than me and like similar goals. And it's like everyone's working together for like one achievement because like we all love the same stuff. Like we're there because we love it. We're not there for the bragging rights a lot of the time.
You're just praying you get the next J.K. Rowling.
About it.
Praying to get the next J.K. Rowling. Huh? I feel, from my understanding.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, because I've written 2 books now, and I just wrote the first draft of a 3rd book. And I was shocked to learn that apparently something like 85% of books lose money, and all the publishing houses then just pray that they get the next Stephen King or the next J.K. Rowling. And that's the business model.
Yeah, basically.
Like you bet on 1,000 horses, and then if you get George R.R. Martin, maybe he can keep the company alive and support everybody.
Yes and no, because it's weird because I was in academic book publishing first before I went to like more mainstream book publishing. Now I work in young adult now.
That's
and
rad.
Academic publishing makes young adult look like it's $1 billion industry because there's no money in academic publishing. And then you go and like I would see such minuscule numbers and like, you know, no sales over a few months and just like I being like, this can't be how many books are sold. Like that's preposterous. And then now that I'm in working in like fiction and like working for like a bigger publishing company, I see some of the numbers we do before a book even comes out, and I see the kind of money that some of these like advances that these authors are getting, and I'm like, all right, they're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints about that. Authors are taken care of. It's just it's like gambling. It's like the companies are gambling on the authors.
Yeah, it's definitely gambling.
It's really people would be shocked.
It's a strenuous process just to get like your book like bought too. Like we get submissions, like the editors that I work with get submissions all day, every day from literary agents, and they pass them on to me to kind of like give them a once over and kind of give it like the yes or no. And I'll read some of these submissions and I'm like, how did this person even get a literary agent to pick this up? And then I see some submissions that are really good but never get sold because some places are just like, oh, this is really good, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. Like an editor will just be like, it's not what
I have experience with people like you then, because I know my first book was part of a series, Weird New York. My second book, I pitched it around, And what would happen with me very consistently was I'd send it to publishing houses, and someone in the 23 to 25-year-old range whose job was to read them as they came in would be like, oh, this is great. And this guy, he's doing all this UCB stuff, and that's a hip place. And he's like, all the people he works with are these like people on hip shows. And then the senior editors would be like, fuck that. And then
yeah, exactly.
the young people were always very excited about it.
They'll even admit that it's something that they really like, but they're like, it's just not what I'm looking for right now. Or like, I don't have the time to devote to some, like a project of this, or like, they'll even, they'll be honest with themselves. They'll be like, this deserves something better than what I can give it. And they're like, I'm going to pass because someone at a better company will be able to pick it up if I don't.
Yeah. I just went through it. Just had a bunch of pitches earlier this year with a whole bunch of the publishing houses. It was cool.
Yeah, it's cool. But I come home. I originally went to school for graphic design, so I do a lot of graphic design and like web design and just like art when I'm home. And I'm not much of a TV watcher, but I try to watch the Chris Gethard Show. But I don't have cable,
for that.
so I FaceTime with my boyfriend, and he puts the computer up to his TV.
Wait, hold on. You don't have cable. Let's make sure. Can we make sure that the executives at True TV hear this? That this is how my fans are consuming my product. While the numbers are dreadfully low, while the ratings are dreadfully low, you can almost double them because a lot of people are watching via FaceTime as someone else actually watches. True TV.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that the True TV executives hear that people
like
watch.
If it went on Hulu right after, I would watch it all the time.
This is my life. So I pay my mortgage. Thank you for watching, though. That's awfully nice.
Of course. No, I love it. It's great.
That's super nice. I'm glad you like it.
But yeah, that's not that much else to me, unfortunately. I don't know. I kind of just try to live and be happy. I cook a lot. I bake a lot.
What are your forte dishes when you're cooking?
Over the last weekend, I made cheesecake for like the first time, and I added like chocolate on top with like raspberries. I made it all from scratch, the crust and everything, and like it was one of the best things I've ever eaten in general. And it's not just me saying it; like it was delicious.
That's
and I
great.
made 2 of them, so it was just like a never-ending flow of having it around. And I actually was eating the last piece, talking to my roommate when I got through to this, and I almost choked, and I like screamed. I'm like, "Oh my God, I got through!"
I was choked to death on cheesecake 52 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was like, I was talking to my roommate, and I was like, man, like if I could get through to this show, like I feel like my life would just be complete. And then I'm like, I'm not going to get through. It's just going to keep telling me like you're busy and my phone turning off. And I'm like, and I'm eating the last piece of cheesecake. Like this is terrible. And then like it went through, and I literally like choked.
Well, I'm glad your life is complete now. You got through. Your life's complete.
It is.
You wrapped it all up at the age of 23. That's great. Now you can just coast. You can just coast for the next 60 years.
Exactly.
I feel like
if I live that long.
I will say this. Can I just say, to put it on the record, I feel like I've been messing around with you a little bit, and listeners are going to say I'm being mean, but I'd like to think that you and I have found a trust and playfulness that I'm enjoying.
Same, we got that whole New Jersey thing going. So
Yeah.
we vibe.
You said North Jersey, too. I bet we grew up not too far from each other.
Like where I'm living right now is not too far from like all the places you talk about, but I grew up way far. Like I'm talking North Jersey.
Like Sussex? We talking Sussex County?
Yeah.
Look at that. You were impressed. What are we talking? Wantage?
People actually live there.
Wantage.
I was like right next to Wantage.
Yeah, the Wantage totem pole. Remember the totem pole?
Yeah,
Wantage?
right around there. Like you'll know as soon as I say, but the only thing we're famous for is an amusement park.
The land of make-believe.
No, that's not in Sussex.
Where the hell is that? That's out near
That's in Warren
Alamuki.
County.
Alamuki. I never knew how to pronounce
You've
that.
mentioned it before.
Alamuki. Shades of Death. Wait, Action Park.
Yes.
My favorite fucking place of all time. Sorry,
I grew
Sally.
5 minutes from there.
Oh, man. If anybody doesn't know,
I
look
could
it up.
walk there.
Look it up. Action Park, a haven of injuries and death throughout the 80s and 90s. One of my favorite places. And
Yeah.
I'll say this, Action Park's become legendary. I'm more responsible for that than any human being on earth because I wrote about it for Weird New
I agree.
Jersey. The Wikipedia entry's based all on my Weird New Jersey article, and then I was in a documentary about it. I've done my part
Yes,
as
I
a
haven't
North
seen the
Jersey citizen.
documentary.
Action Park. So did you, but you're too young. You probably never went there when it was Action Park. It was Mountain
No.
Creek.
Yeah, I only went there when it was Mountain Creek, but like it was basically the same with
It's-
some of the more dangerous stuff like closed off. But like just walking around that place, the way the terrain is, like I would like trip all the time, fall, stub my toes, scrape my
Yeah.
like elbows.
It's all
I almost got
asphalt.
like really hurt doing like yeah, and it's all like crooked and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And like I did they really don't check height requirements because all
No.
the lifeguards there are like the local team.
Yeah, they're 14
So
years
like
old.
I definitely did. I did some rides that probably were way too dangerous for someone who was like 10, 11 years old and
Yeah.
probably like almost drowned a few times.
It's still messed up. I went there for my bachelor party. They briefly changed the name back to Action Park, and I went twice.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty cracked out. I will say, you mentioned that just walking around there, it's a lot of cracked asphalt to trip over. It's a well-known thing. My friend Mike D pointed this out. You got to wear aqua shoes at Action Park, or else you wind up with
Yeah.
a disease known as chopped meat feet, where you get the chopped meat feet.
Literally, that's
from
exactly
walking
what it
around.
looked like.
You can't get it. You got to watch out in
place
this
is
world for the
terrible.
chopped meat feet. You can't
Yeah.
mess around.
That place is awful though. I'll never go back. My parents still live there and I rarely visit them.
Oh, I would go back. I would go back every summer.
I hate that town. I hate it so badly. I never want to go back there.
What? Great Gorge, Vernon Valley.
Ugh, no.
Beautiful.
It's pretty, but everything else, everyone in it, it's not so pretty.
Yeah, that's okay.
A lot of Trump supporters up there.
Yeah, people don't know Jersey. It's very divided.
Weird.
Yeah. So we got 4.5 minutes left. So
All right.
A book
Well,
reading, cheesecake bacon,
yeah.
boy crazed stalking, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. But we got sidetracked. But all in all, that married dude, after he got out of the mental hospital, he started stalking out around my house, and I called the police, and they told me unless he was trying to break into my house, they couldn't do anything for me. So that's how
so
that
he
ended.
stalked you. He stalked you
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, he thought like I was walking down the street at night, and he appeared kind of like out of the bushes and was like, "I just want to talk," and I like ran home screaming.
Whoa, that's real stalking.
And then like, yeah, and then like the next 2 weeks, he would be like kind of like pacing out around like my neighborhood. Like one time, he was like playing guitar on like my street corner, like shirtless in the middle of the day, and that's when I called the police, but they didn't want to do anything.
Yeah. And what did that just burn out over time? He just stopped showing up?
Basically, I messaged his wife on Facebook, and I guess she got a hold of him because they're still together.
Whoa. That's nuts.
Yeah, she didn't divorce him.
That's nuts.
And the worst part is that she owns my favorite bakery. I can never go in there ever
God
again.
damn it. God damn it. You got to be kidding me.
The worst part.
God damn it.
This bakery catered my high school graduation, and I can never go in there
Where
again.
are you going to get cannolis?
No, I hate Italian pastry. It's a vegan cupcake shop.
What? You hate Italian pastries? You out of your mind?
I
Cannolis are
hate them.
delicious.
They all taste the same.
Cannolis
they're
are
disgusting.
delicious.
No.
Yes. I'm not going to sit here and have cannolis
No.
besmirched on my podcast. They got the shells and the
Okay.
filling. They're great. Maybe you put some chocolate chips in there too. They're great.
But those Italian cookies that all taste like melted plastic? No.
Some of them, but then you get the pignole. That's a good tick.
No.
You know the
No.
ones I mean with the what kind of nut is that on there? They put on there the almonds. It's almonds in
Isn't
there.
it? Yeah, almonds. No, I hate those.
You hate the pignole?
Yes.
Oh, you're not a good North Jersey Italian. You gotta embrace Italian
I know,
food. You
but-
live in New Jersey. People know. I got together with my wife, and she didn't know about some of the slang terms of New Jersey that I bet you know. Like we don't call. There's a certain type of ham that some people call capicola. We don't call it that.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
What do we call it?
Gabagool.
You gotta call it gabagool. She calls mozzarella mozzarella. We don't call it mozzarella.
No.
What do we call it?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. And there's what's the other big one? What's the other big one that I always forget? Those
I
are
have
the
no
two big
idea.
ones. Mozzarella, gabagool.
I've learned so many new ones from my Italian boyfriend from Staten Island that I would have never known either. So it just depends on where you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I remember what it is. We don't call it ricotta cheese. You call it ragotte.
Regatta.
Ragotte.
You gotta say it with a G.
Yeah, it's got the ragotte. Anyway, we got a
Fucking
minute
Italian
left,
food.
and clearly you and I have run out of things to talk about.
Right. Well, wait, did you go see Shellshag this weekend?
I did not see Shellshag this weekend. I was visiting my parents in Florida. How was Shellshag, one of the great bands of this world?
I didn't go see them, but my
the
friends
music
and I were
for
like,
the
if we
show.
go, I bet Chris Gethard will be there.
People think I see every Shellshag show. That's impossible. They play 4 times a week.
Well, it was
Shellshag's
in
beautiful.
Brooklyn.
If you ever get a chance to see Shellshag live, though, they put on an amazing show. It's just 2 of them, and they sing over a lit-up pyramid-shaped amp. And they're the guys who, Jen and John from Shellshag, make all the music from this show that you hear is Shellshag, and they're the best. You should go see them live.
I would love to. They were playing with Matt the Band, who I haven't seen since I was like 13 years old. So I was hoping to go, but I didn't.
That's a hell of a bill. 20 seconds left.
All right. I don't know what else to say.
That's fair.
My hamster is named after a Weezer album. Is that a good way to end it?
Pinkerton?
Yeah.
Nailed that. Thanks again to our caller. Of course it was Pinkerton. That's a great name for a hamster. It's a great name. You're not going to name the hamster Maladroit or something like that. You're not going to name the hamster The Red Album. Caller, I'm glad things worked out. I'm glad you got away from that abusive one. I'm glad that you're with a guy right now who feels like a good match, takes good care of you. That's very cool. Glad you're eating cheesecake. I'm glad you're doing what you love. And it was so nice to talk to you. Thank you for supporting my work. Thank you for calling. Thank you to the Reverend John DeLore and Greta Cohn for helping me build this show. Thanks to Jared O'Connell and Harry Nelson in the booth, really guiding the ship behind the scenes. Thanks to Shellshag, who we mentioned during the show. They write great music. They put on great shows. Support Shellshag. You want to know about me? Any dates I got coming up? ChrisGeth.com. You want to support the show? You rate, you review, you subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It really does help. Anyway, I'm done shilling. I enjoyed the talk, and I'll see you next time on Beautiful Anonymous. Sonos One, such a game changer. The Sonos speakers in general, you get them for your house. You get the one that goes under your TV. You get the subwoofer. Great, great speakers. Sonos One, game changer. Links up with Amazon Alexa. Couldn't believe it. You control all your sound with your voice from anywhere in your house. It's nuts, and I love it. It's the best. Listen to all my music on my Sonos now. I bother my neighbors. I crank it up, and I got one in the bathroom. I just shout along to Jawbreaker. I'm taking a shower. I say, Alexa, turn it up. I'm in the shower. I need it louder. Let me know. Sonos One blends great sound with Amazon Alexa, the easy-to-use voice service for hands-free control of your music and more. Use your voice to play songs while you cook or you're in the shower like me. You can even manage smart devices all using a single Sonos speaker. Now, for a limited time, Sonos is offering the listeners a Beautiful Anonymous 10% off one order of $2,500 or less for any product at Sonos.com. Just use the promo code STORIES10. Capital letters, STORIES 10 at Sonos.com to receive this offer. Next time on Beautiful Anonymous, I can hear you. Your minute has started. You get to tell me about...
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm calling from Finland.
Oh,
so,
that's
awesome. Yeah, I love the show. Anyway, I have a little bit silly New Year's resolution. I'm gonna play more tuba. I have been playing tuba since I was 9 years old, but past 5 years I haven't been doing it much. So yeah, I'm gonna pick it up again next year.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Next time on Beautiful Anonymous.
Hey, Matt Belknap, the New Year's right around the corner.
That's so true, Jimmy.
And what better way to bring in the new year but by trying out a new podcast Never Not Funny.
Yeah.
Now, we're not a new podcast, but maybe it's new to you.
We might be the oldest podcast on Earwolf.
Never Not Funny's been around, like you say, almost 12 years now.
Yep.
And some people are still not on board, which I find ridiculous.
If you like people like Paul F. Tompkins, Scott Aukerman, Tig Notaro, I don't know,
Andy Daly.
Yeah, Andy Daly.
Conan O'Brien has been known to stop by.
Yeah, we have all the people you love on
Zach
our show.
Galifianakis occasionally makes his face known.
He's on Playing Games. You know, I think if you are a little daunted by the 2-hour runtime of Never Not Funny, check out Playing Games. It's a little half-hour game show version of what we do on Never Not Funny. It's a sort of more structured version of it. Give that a try. If you like it, maybe jump on over to Never Not Funny.
Or, you know what? Just go deep dive. Put the wetsuit on and jump into the 2 hours of fun that is Never Not Funny. Never Not Funny and Playing Games.
A better way to laugh.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.